Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Game Sharks. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jimmy Good, and joining me as always is my other co-host, Mr. Corey Lang.
It's nice to see you, Jimmy.
It's good to see you too, sir. And we're being seen in a completely new way today, as you can probably tell for longtime viewers of the show. The backdrop looks a little different. The whole set looks a little bit different. Everything, new microphones, new arms. Corey, talk to me. What are we looking at here? Where am I?
Well, we finally have a podcast studio, and we have a living, breathing studio back here. So you'll see people walking through the set. You'll see Pat, CJ, and Billy running the show. Thank you to Pat Cook, our technology manager, for helping out with some really cool tech that you're going to see in the show today.
Yes, it's amazing. And as you can already tell, hopefully this is kind of like a different feel or different vibe, and we're just kind of testing some things out. So bear with us while we kind of play with some new ideas and concepts and some other elements that you have not seen on a show like ours ever before. But yeah, today we're talking, of course, about video games, and we're going to start today talking about a little game that came out recently that decided to break the entire internet. Of course, we're talking about Hollow Knight Silksong. Corey, you've been playing more of this than I have. I'll say that much right now. I've played a good chunk of it, but not nearly. I don't think. How many hours in are you? I forget.
According to my Switch profile, it's like the way Nintendo tracks it is so frustrating because it'll say over 10 hours played, over 20.
Yep.
So I'm not running a timer, but according to my profile, over 20 hours.
Over 20 hours.
So, yeah.
That's impressive. Has it felt like a slog, or has it felt like a dream where you've just been playing and it's just been going by so quickly?
Like Silksong, actually playing the game?
Yeah, playing the game.
I'm loving it. I mean, it's, so I didn't play a lot of the original Hollow Knight game. Is that like a 10-year-old game at this point?
Yeah, this has been around 12 years or something like that until this has come out finally, which is crazy to think about.
So the development of Silksong is kind of legiondary at this point.
Yeah,
it's been teased and previewed for years, and now it's finally released. And as Jimmy alluded to, it literally crashed storefronts.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of at that legendary status at this point, but I mean, so I'm going to dump on this game a little bit.
Here, let's do it.
But let me preface by saying I love this game. I'm addicted to it, and it's probably my game of the year so far.
Cool.
But that's why I'm so passionate about its flaws.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
So if I had to sum up Silksong with one word, it would be stingy. This game is very, stingy. And what I mean by that is it's very anti-handholdy, which I appreciate.
Yes.
So it's doing the Dark Souls thing applied to a 2D Metroidvania. So there's a lot of backtracking. So here's an example of how stingy this game is. If you want a map in Silksong, you have to pay for a map.
To buy the map.
And to get currency to buy a map, not all the enemies drop the currency. There's these little copper balls.
Yep.
And forgive me, I don't remember exactly what the currency is called.
Rosaries.
Thank you. And you can buy rosary strings to save your rosary balls. But the process works: you kill an enemy, these rosaries go flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And you have to literally collect them. So opposed to Dark Souls, where you kill an enemy, you absorb those souls, and that's your currency. But the thing is, in Dark Souls, you get souls from every enemy you kill.
Yes.
In Silksong, it's maybe 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 enemies drop rosaries. So the picture I'm painting is it's a very challenging game, which I love. But there's systems in place that could be better.
Yeah.
I think the fast travel system's not good. The currency, the economy in this game's not good. And I don't know if improving those systems would break the game. Maybe Team Cherry looked at it and said, well, we can't let you fast travel everywhere like you can in Elden Ring because it would break our game. Yeah. My opinion would be, we'll just make things in between harder then. Yeah. But again, I'm no game developer. I just think the economy's bad. I think the fast travel system's bad. And I constantly never know where I'm going in this game because I don't have the map.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't have money to buy the map because I lost my rosaries.
Exactly, yeah.
So here's the good news for me, just to wrap up my thoughts. And I think the art style is amazing. Yes. I think the audio visual design that Team Cherry have done here, it's hand-drawn, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. It's really snappy. I just love exploring this creepy world that they've built. Yeah. But It's a 9 out of 10. It could have been an easy 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of stop there and hand it over to you.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did not play the first Hollow Knight. I know people loved it, and I know that this game has been something that's been kind of not vaporware, but for something that has been like, does this thing even exist? It was kind of not to the level of Elden Ring, but there was a time there where it was like, is this thing going to ever exist? And it's cool that it does now. And I won't lie to you, I also got it on Game Pass. We talk about Game Pass on here all the time. But I was just like, oh, I'll just download it, I'll just try it out. And for me, I enjoy that. I can already feel the difficulty because there's not, I don't know if there's any difficulty choice at the beginning. Yeah, you just go right into it.
Stingy,
dude. It's stingy. And I was like, okay, maybe I can take on the first boss and not die. Of course, I died like 3 or 4 times. And I was like, well, there we go. I was like, it's one of those types. But I agree with you. The animation and the character that is just prevalent throughout in everything, not only just the characters themselves, but like the world itself feels super claustrophobic, and I think that's really intentional. But the whole idea you have too with the maps, I'm like, yeah, because I was just like wandering around aimlessly. I was like, I have no idea where to go or what to do, And that's kind of like, I think the point, especially in the beginning, is to kind of be like, all right, you're figuring it out, and it has that kind of, is it technically a Metroidvania? Because you're going to unlock things to, get into other places later on. There's like certain gates you can't cut through, or there's certain areas. I was like, okay, clearly I shouldn't be here yet. I have to come back here later. And some people really love that sort of thing. Zelda has been, that's a classic example too of kind of like I got to come back when I have the boomerang or whatever. But for me, I love more of like a trajectory. I hate to backtrack. And these types of games, it seems like Hollow Knight had a lot of that. It seems like this has a lot of that too, potentially. Or you're kind of opening up another path, like in some of the Souls games where you open the gate that you're like, okay, I've made the shortcut now. I've got an elevator that takes me to and fro. I will say this, though. The combat does feel really meaty and weighty, really responsive. And that's huge for me in a game like this, because if I'm going to be swinging the needle that Hornet uses, like I want that to feel good. And it does. It legitimately does. And I know you unlock more and more skills and you have more kind of abilities.
More stances.
Yeah, because it's that kind of classic, like you probably had all those abilities and they were taken away from you at the beginning. And it's like, well, I got to get them back, or you learn them or whatever. But yeah, I was like looking at this, I was like, man, this is a fascinating sequel to something so much longer, than you'd think something like this would take. Like with maybe it's not a perfect point of comparison, but I look at like Hades, and then Hades 2 being in early access for a super long time, and then finally doing like a full launch, where this game was like, here it is, and at a really fair price point, which they didn't necessarily need to do. They did, and clearly there was a big response. Like a huge, huge response. I don't know if I've seen a game, especially at this level, make such an impact, like as far as like storefronts and just crashing everything simultaneously. Because everyone I was hearing from was like saying, it's just, I can't get it right now, because everybody wanted a piece. So in that, I respect it. And this is a passion project. You can tell people love this game. Like the people who made it, love it. And for that, I respect it. Am I going to get all the way to the end of it? Most likely no. I'll probably bounce off it here a little bit. But from what I've seen so far, I also like the, I don't know how they do languages in games like this, Corey. It always shocks me. Because I'm like, yeah, they wrote it out in English for me, but there's like this kind of like weird language they've made. And that might be a real language that they like kind of made themselves. No idea. But I love it. And again, those characters, I think that for me was probably the coolest thing, like the designs of them and how like charming and kind of weird and kind of funky they are, So I don't know. I respect this game. I really do. And I respect the people who are good at it. But I was already thinking, I'm like, man, this boss who beat me up in this first like spot, I was like, I bet there's a new game plus where you fight this boss again and it's got 3 or 4 new moves or something. But I would recommend checking it out, especially if you have Game Pass, even if you haven't played the first one like me, because I think there's only Hollow Knight, right? I might be wrong about this. But yeah, that's kind of my thinking. Is this a recommend for you, or are you kind of like, depends?
Huge recommend. Like I said, it's probably my game of the year so far. I'm just having so much fun playing it. I love looking at it. It just looks amazing. I love playing it. My biggest gripe is it's almost too anti-handholdy. Like I would just love a map. It's one of those things where maybe Team Cherry is like, oh, well, we want the player to get 40 hours out of this, rather than 20.
Yeah.
If we give them the map, then they're going to blow through it quicker. Okay, great. But then like pump in a really addicting New Game Plus.
Yes.
And then encourage the replay value.
Yeah.
But no, I'm having a blast. It was worth the wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to finish this and then go back and play Hollow Knight now.
Oh, cool. Sure.
And just props for the price tag.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard a lot of like indie developers complaining that like they've broken the industry, like legit, like, hey, well now thanks, we can't sell our game for $40.
Yeah.
You put out this really ambitious, hand-drawn, well-produced game for $20. What the heck?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but it's great for the consumer. So
So good for the consumer.
your
So good.
complaints are irrelevant, sir.
Yep.
Figure it out.
If you make something that's of good quality and you
Yep.
can afford to do it, then people will come. You'll make a fan base, and especially because of the almost legendary status of this. Like, does this thing even exist? I think that really helped it a lot, and being like, nope, here it is, and you can play it. Another thing I do want to mention too, the backgrounds and stuff. I do love the fact that like even though you are underground or wherever you are, like they do vary quite a bit. So sometimes felt like I was in a forest. Sometimes it felt like I was inside a volcano. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's really well done, and I respect the world.
Amazing
that they made.
music too, by the way. Amazing.
The music, and you can always tell a game or a movie or whatever is so proud of their musical score when like you're playing it in the beginning of this game. They're like, oh, you know, who's the director or whatever. Here, the music is by, and I'm like, oh, they're proud of their music.
proud
That
of
means
it.
that's probably a good thing.
It's great.
It's really
the music
good.
is great.
Atmospheric, so nice, so cozy, but also foreboding.
Oh yeah, no, it's a threat. This is a threat. This
Yeah.
game will tear you inside and out.
Oh yeah, totally. It's.
But you're right. It has a cozy aesthetic at first, and you're like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, this
game's brutal.
It's gonna be brutal. Yeah, it looks cute because you look at it at first blush, you might be like, oh, this is like a nice little fun game. It was like a little person jumping around. It's like, no, I'm sweating over here. I'm like, I'm just trying to dodge or I'm trying to re-heal. Which that healing mechanic, that's another one that I was like, oh, so I can once in a while you attack enough and you build up your thing and then you can like heal yourself. But that also puts you at risk too. I think I died to the boss trying to heal myself. I was like, okay, all right. There's a lot of nuance.
So just one last thing, not to keep this discussion going, but you get an item later on that protects you while you heal.
I need that item.
Yeah.
I got the one that was like collecting rosaries so I didn't lose them because they were like falling down everywhere. And I like the little noise it makes when they hit the ground. But I was like, okay, this is
well done.
It's really well done. Super well done. So yeah, that's a recommend for both of us for Hollow Knight Silksong. Not a surprise though, I would imagine, if you're kind of following video game stuff at all. But another thing that came out not too long ago, something very near and dear to my heart, a little game that came out almost 20 years ago, has been remastered before and has been now remastered once again. And of course, I'm talking about Gears of War Reloaded. Now, Corey, I'm not going to lie to you. The first time I saw Gears, and I don't know if we talked about this on the show, we might have, but I remember I was sitting at my friend's house back in, it was like 2006, I think, or 7.
Yep.
6, right? It's something like that.
Yes, sir.
And I remember seeing, this was like the first high-def video game I had ever seen. And I remember the moment because I remember seeing the buildings in Jacinto, I think is where it is, and being like, wow, this is a crazy game. This is insane. I've never seen anything quite like this before. And being like, oh, is this like an action game? Is this like a horror game? What am I even looking at here? And just kind of like falling in love with not only the lore of Gears, but then like the subsequent games, which I think are the best ones, especially 2. So it's weird to me to be here, 20 years later, replaying Gears for, I don't know, the third or fourth or fifth time, and feeling that, like, yes, the look is as good as it's ever been, maybe the best it's ever been, but still feeling that, like, there was something, they didn't have all the mechanics that Gears 2 or 3 or subsequent games have, and missing those mechanics insofar as, like, this is a third person, cover-based shooter. They were like they're like known for this. This is like their baby. This is kind of, and not that other games didn't do third-person, cover-based shooting before, but like Gears, that's what Gears is, at its core. But missing some of the abilities of like, if I jump over and vault over to attack the bad guys and knock into them, that is not a mechanic that I think is in this game, or I can't like pull them over cover and then attack them. So stuff like that. So there's like, I feel a little bit of the age there, but I get, again, it's like we're talking about Hollow Knight, is adding those elements going to break the game? I don't know. But the core, concept of playing as these like superhumans against these creepy aliens, but not aliens because they're from like inside the earth, the locust, and the whole lambent threat. is still so amazing to me. I love the locusts. They're one of my favorite enemies of all time, and they come in so many varied shapes and forms, and it's just a real trip down memory lane, especially now for people who are maybe making these memories for the first time on PlayStation, which to me is still mind-boggling. I'm like, how is that even a thing that like Gears of War, an Xbox thing, is now on PlayStation? Did you have any thoughts about like Gears making the jump to that, or are you just like, yeah, more people can play it?
Yeah, I mean, Gears of War, I don't know if I'll ever get excited about a video game ever again the way that I was excited for Gears of War. I hate to sound like an old man dating myself, but like kids these days, I'm just going to say it, like they will never understand how mind-blowing it was to jump from SD to HD.
It was huge.
The Xbox 360 was such an event in the video game industry. It was the TV. It was the game that got me to buy an HD TV. Yep. It was a 37-inch Olivia. We have the same TV in our conference room here at QCTV.
Amazing.
And I bought it at Kmart to play Gears of War in 2006, and it was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Looking back, looking at the reloaded version, like it's the second remastered version of this game. Yeah. I think the funniest thing about this is you can play it on PlayStation. Yeah. Forgive me if you already mentioned that.
Yeah, no, I was just asking like what you thought about like that being on there for everyone to play.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, great for a generation of gamers that never got to play it on that platform. Mm-hmm. Now they can experience it on PlayStation and Game Pass. Yep. And I jumped into this a little bit, and it's just really funny to watch like how quaint this game is compared to some of the sequels.
Oh, very much so.
You know, it's very boxy, 3 enemies at a time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of cute in a way. Yeah. But no, it's great. I played a little bit of this Reloaded. I still think it's super fun to play. Yeah. And it looks great. Still looks good. Almost 20 years later.
Gears of War is one of my absolute favorite franchises of all time across any entertainment media, but I do have complaints. I will say it's not as punchy as I'd like it to be. There's something about it. Maybe it's just like
this version, or just the game in general.
Just the game, though, at least the way that this one is still like set up. There's something about the guns or something like the hammer burst. I've never been a fan of the hammer burst. They force that on you early. Yeah. Only when you get the Lancer. The Lancer is great. You know, you do the whole chainsaw, and I love that. It is so hard to do in this game, though.
It is.
And also your AI companions. I was talking to another friend of mine who was a huge Gears fan. And she was saying, she's like, it's not impossible to play this on harder difficulties, but because your AI companions cannot revive you, when you go down, you're done. You're out. So it's really frustrating to be like, you can't really do the maneuvers.
Well, and it's a horror game. Yeah. Where a lot of the sequels were more action
That's
games.
very true. Yeah, that's very, very true. It's just like, I'm like, come on, I have to save them all the time. They go down. I have to revive them, and they can't revive me. Yeah. Trying to get that chainsaw off. I was playing on normal the other day, and I was like, man, I've been playing this game for a long time. And even I was like, what the heck is going on? Yeah. And the grenade physics are not as good, I think, as some of the newer ones, because I was trying
a little janky.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that jank, and you can't like plant grenades. There's a lot of those things that I love of the newer ones, and I've been spoiled on. But it is fun to go back because Corey, I remember like almost all of like the little combat arenas that I would go into, because like I played them so many times. I'm like, oh yeah, it's this one, and there's the Troika turrets over here, so I have to go over here and get them. I was like, I've done this so many times, like, and I love it for that. And again, a Game Pass game for me. So it's easy to be like, oh, I can play it and for a little bit and try it out and be like, that was nice.
Totally.
But I don't have to be like, I need to commit to this.
Yeah, no, I got a notification actually on PC that was like, oh, you have a new game that's added to your library. I was like, oh, what is that? And it's like, oh, well, you just get Gears of War Reloaded for free since you owned, what was the last remaster?
Ultimate?
Ultimate. So I just got it for free, and I was playing on PC, and by the way, I completely agree with your criticisms. It's a little rough and tough. It's a little janky. It's a game of its time, and the sequels were far superior. I just love that game, Marcus Phoenix. Yeah, I have a good memory of that game coming out, so it's really cool.
I wonder sometimes too if you're like one of the voice actors who plays these characters, and to have your voice get like used again and again, and not have to go back in to record anything. Like, because I was thinking about that, because like John DiMaggio, who plays Marcus Phoenix, he's such a talent. But hearing his voice is just perfect there. And everybody in that cast is just, they nailed it. Yep. And it's like, you can kind of tell that back in the day that Cliffy B and Rod Ferguson and everybody who made this game, they knew they were onto something. It was like this kind of weird, like kind of, it was horror, but it was kind of these gruff action hero. And the lines they say are very like I don't know if I've heard that in a video game since maybe a Duke Nukem, but there's so much conviction in how they say it. You're like, I'm not used to that, like being so sincere in their hatred for the Locust.
And they're coming back for E-Day, which I can't wait for.
And that's the thing, Corey. I'm like, it's like a lot of these things, and we'll probably talk about some more later on today, is like some of these games and these franchises feel like we're putting out these these remasters to just be like, don't forget the franchise exists. Don't worry, we're working on this thing over here. And it's like, I need to know. I've
been quietly looking at OLED TVs just to chase the nostalgia of getting a new TV for Gears of War.
So good.
And like, I don't know if you've looked at OLED TVs. They've like really come down in price.
So far in price.
They used to be out of reach in terms of my budget. Like I couldn't afford a $5,000 TV.
Now way cheaper, way cheaper.
Under $1,000 for sure. So I might get an OLED for the new Gears. We'll see.
Oh, that would be amazing. And plus, like, I'm so excited to go back to this time period. Kind of, I guess E-Day is before even Gears 1 by like 12 or 14 years or something. But like back to the kind of the grittiness and the locusts themselves. The only issue, again, maybe we've talked about it here, but is like the idea of if you go prequel in a game with a bunch of weapons, can you really add any new weapons that don't make it into subsequent games? Or they're like, all right, here's a prototype weapon and you can use it, but when you use it, it explodes and everyone forgets it existed. You know? So I think about that because I love new weapons in Gears, but I just want to go back to the Locust because I miss the Locust and fighting them always feels right. I'm like, I hate those guys. And I also love them. I love the Corpser. I'm not a big fan of big scary bugs, but I love big Corpser, man. He's like creeping around in the Brumok, and the Wretches, the drones, and the Boomers. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Good stuff.
Great game. A transformative game, and one of the things that really put Xbox 360 on the map, like in a huge, huge way.
Yeah, and if you have a PS5, you can play handheld with the Portal. So first time ever that you could, maybe the Steam Deck you can play Gears handheld or
maybe
through an iPhone or something. But anyways, you get the idea. So
and also it's like, you reminded me though, the only thing that probably eclipsed like the idea from jumping from standard def to high def, I remember seeing like Super Mario 64 as a kid and being like, there's a new dimension. I'm like,
it was a big moment for just TV in general, the technology of a television set.
So we'll get to it later, but I'm just waiting for Marcus Phoenix to end up in Super Smash Brothers. That's all I want. I want him to be with Mario. That's what I'm trying to get back to that whole idea. So are you going to play Gears are you going to like try that at all? Like, are you going to try to dive back into Reloaded?
No, I'm done. It was fun to look at. I have no interest in playing that original game at this time. I think it's great for people. They have access to it, but no, I'm done with it.
And from what I understand, I looked into this too. It basically is everything Ultimate was, maybe some up-res graphics and stuff, but they added some like one more campaign chapter or something at the end. It's nothing like, I'm sure it's really cool, and I think I have played it way back in the day, but it's not something where it's like, oh, you have to play this new one. It feels like is this a thing we can market on PlayStation? Are we going to put E-Day on PlayStation? That's what this kind of feels like to me. You know, even in the naming of it, I'm like, oh, because Ultimate, now it's Reloaded. I'm like, you know. So, but yeah, I love Gears.
Stay tuned.
Gears of War. Before we move on to the next thing, favorite Gears of War weapon, if you have one.
I mean, so multiplayer shotgun,
the Gnasher,
because that's your only option. But the Lancer.
The Lancer's amazing.
You know, and I just love the reload mini game in Gears. It's
so
still
good.
Fun.
And they have the old like little like if you do it 25 times, it keeps track of it like in the game, and it'll be hey, you did it. It was like good job, and I'm like, hey, I still got it. Well, honorable mentions to the Scorcher flamethrower and the Hammer of Dawn. The Hammer of Dawn is. I love it so much. Ooh, orbital lasers, baby. What can I say? Speaking of orbital lasers, I didn't even mean to do this, Corey.
Wow.
But I want to talk about another third-person shooter, one that was on PlayStation and then came to Xbox. So we're kind of flipping, and they came out the same day for Xbox for Gears and Helldivers 2. I want to talk about Helldivers 2 a little bit because this is a game I've been waiting for so long, Corey. And again, it's been on PlayStation. He
calls me in the middle of the night like, hey, I want to tell you about Helldivers. I'm like, Jimmy, it's 3 in the morning.
Do you believe in democracy?
Yeah.
Do you love Super Earth? Because I do.
I like Super Troopers, the movie.
Dude, and it is Starship Troopers.
I'm sorry, Starship Troopers.
I
Thank
like Super
you.
Troopers though too.
Thank you for the correction.
It's
yeah.
okay. I'll say you boys like Mexico.
Yeah,
But yeah, Starship Troopers clearly the inspiration for this. But I remember playing the first one years ago. Isometric view, kind of top downish, and you were playing 1 to I think 4 players and doing these little missions. And the big thing was that like you're fighting bugs on different planets and you're trying to defend democracy and liberty from these creeps. And you go and you do these like little kind of objective based like zoned areas with your buddies. And the big thing about it is that like friendly fire always on. That was kind of like, and it makes the game a little more jokey and fun, especially early on. But then it also makes the more intense moments much more intense because you never know if your best buddy is going to inadvertently become your worst enemy just because he turned around and started shooting like crazy, you know? So I've been playing this, and Corey, like even with randoms, but people I don't even know, amazing, crazy moments, beautiful carnage. The game looks insane. And again, we're talking about a sequel.
We can see B-roll on screen right now, by the way.
Like, this is crazy. And a lot of what you're seeing here is gameplay. And like I talked about before, the first game, isometric, kind of top down, that game still looked good and everything. Now we're down to third person and how much they've done with this. And it's just like, I love to see a game franchise not be afraid to innovate like this and say like, let's try something completely different, or evolve, I should say.
Flamethrower,
dude. Oh, there's flamethrowers, baby. And it's, man, there's so many different weapons. There's so much to get into, but the idea here is that like you're probably going to play this game with like buddies, or you're probably playing with other people because you can play by yourself, but it is a very difficult thing to accomplish, and it's hard. It's really hard, and there's a lot of objectives that require multiple people. So the idea is you kind of drop in on these missions. You can either fight the bugs, so the Terminids, and then you can fight the automatons, or you can fight the Illuminate. So the automatons are more like your T-800s, your robot men. And then the Illuminates are like these kind of zombie / like squid men people. So they have variety. And I love that because, like, yeah, the bugs are like the ones you're kind of going to buy the game for to kind of gun down all the bugs. But the other ones give you the opportunity to kind of change it up, and they're just completely different because if you're fighting robots who have guns and lasers who can shoot you, you have to think more about cover versus with the bugs where you're kind of kiting them and leading them and all that stuff. And man, it is just such a pleasure. It is such an addicting game to play.
Oh, it's fun.
The weirdness comes in like their leveling system, because what you have to do is you have to like do enough missions to get these requisition points. There's like a few different types of currencies, but then you have to like buy the packs with the things, and then you get access to like unlock the things within the pack. So if you wanted a very specific weapon, you'd have to go through these different kind of like groupings of them to see where the weapon is, along with different customizable outfits and things like that. So, and cosmetics. So there's a lot of that, so it doesn't feel like you're necessarily getting stronger all the time, but like once you get the new gun that you've been waiting for, you're like, oh, this is really great. And then you're also thinking about team composition, because it's like, well, if you all have flamethrowers, that's cool, and I love it, but it's not going to be the most effective for all things, and not all weapons work all the best on all the different factions. So there's all these things to consider, right? And it's just such like fun moment-to-moment gameplay. Like, and the zones in these maps can be pretty big, like enough to the point where you can get like these jeeps and things to get into and drive around. And like I said, I was playing with randoms, and they were finding ways to kind of like game the system. So they would like type in the little chat, like, "Hey, we're doing this. We're not really doing the missions, but we're trying to get these currencies." And I was like, "Hey, well, sounds good to me." Like, But this is a game that like really. It's really pushing you to play with like at least one other person to coordinate and be like, "Hey, I need you to help me," because I just got squashed. And death in this game is not as big a deal as it might be in something like a Hollow Knight.
Sure.
Because like you'll get summoned back in, you get a certain number of reinforcements that they can either call you back in, or you'll kind of like respawn by yourself if you're alone. Yeah. But you're calling in a lot of stuff from space, which is a whole thing where you have to put in the crazy button inputs, and then you throw down a little beacon, and then it'll drop your super machine gun or whatever else. So there's so many things to consider between that and like the turrets you can build and all the other armaments, and then like the jetpacks and the shields, and there's there's so much calculus going on in this game, and it is very addicting. And it's that kind of Monster Hunter feeling of like, I just like how the game plays. It's not. I didn't come here necessarily for the story. Like, the story's cute and fun. I love it, but it's not like, oh, like I know these people. It's like, I don't know anybody. Like, and you get to like name your ship. Cool. Which is really cool. And like every mission you have to start off, you have to like go and get in your pod, and it's this whole like ordeal. It's very cinematic, but it's also very jokey. It's just so cool. Like, do you have any questions for me about it?
I mean, I was watching B-roll on screen. It looks like a lot of fun. You know me, I'm not a big multiplayer shooter guy.
Yeah.
I'll dabble once in a while, but typically I have such a backlog already that it just doesn't seem like a game that I would typically play. So it's good that you are here to talk about it.
Sure. Well, thank you.
I'm familiar with the franchise. I guess I don't have a whole lot of questions. Glad you're digging it. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Does not look like a game that I would probably play.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's one of those things. I've got some buddies who've like I've been trying to coordinate times with, because they're like the guys I'll play like Battlefield with and everything, and they're like we all have it and we're ready to go. It's just like one of those like coordinating life things now. And it's like
exactly.
It's all it's frustrating because one of them he's got 2 kids, and I'm like, buddy, priorities, dude.
Kids.
Come on, we gotta defend Super
What do you
Earth.
need kids when we have video games?
Thank you. That's what I kept telling him. I just hear screaming in the background.
Joking, by the way.
Of course,
don't write in.
Yeah, don't write in. We can't see it. No. But I love games like this. I love a video game that's not afraid to be a video game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm like, because sometimes I love a very serious, very like, it feels like an important video game.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, I don't need anything pretentious. I just want to shoot some bugs.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
For sure.
And this game does it, and it feels great.
Good.
Which is a testament to the team for not having all of that kind of I don't know what you'd say experience on the first game, because it wasn't like they made a third-person game.
It's an ambitious jump.
It's a huge jump. It reminds me of like how like Darkest Dungeon switched, or like Risk of Rain switched from like a 2D platformer kind of thing, and then it was like, all right, now it's like a roguelike in a different way. I don't know. I love that. And I know it can't work for all of them. Like, hey, if Gears of War, the first one was that way, and then the next one was Tactics, like they made it would be like, I don't know if that was the right call. But yeah, I respect it. So Arrowhead, you guys, like, kudos. Clearly a very popular game. This was being compared a lot to Warhammer Space Marine 2 or Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Different, similar in some ways, but pretty different, I would say. If you're really wanting like the gritty, meaty combat, especially melee stuff, Space Marine 2 is where it's at. This just has so much more crazy, like, kind of player expression and agency that you're not going to get in Space Marine. So both are great. Play both. If you can, play both.
That's the way to go.
I would say play both. But yeah, so cool. Corey, we have to check in on something, though.
Yeah.
Something that you've been playing. This was the game that you said to me was your favorite game of the year. Was your favorite game of the year.
Dead to me now. I'm just kidding.
And you were like, this might be one of the best video games of all time.
I still stand by that.
You still stand by it. And we're talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yes, sir.
How is it treating you nowadays?
So I finished the Bonanza.
You finished
the Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Congratulations.
That is a really long game.
What was it?
It is an epic in length game.
Okay, cool.
I mean, probably 30 plus hours.
That's long for a platformer.
Yeah.
That's
You're definitely going to get your $70 worth out of this game.
Good.
It is paywalled behind a Switch 2. So this is a Switch 2 exclusive, which is good.
Yeah.
Consoles need exclusives.
Yeah, I got to move those consoles.
Yep, and this is a big one. So I don't know if they had announced the last time we talked, this is the team behind Mario Galaxy.
I believe so.
We probably did know
we
that.
Might have, yeah.
Okay. So where I landed with this game, I still think it's a remarkable 3D platformer. The sort of smash anything, climb anything, go anywhere works really well.
Yeah.
It's a vibrant game with a lot going on screen, and I think the Switch 2 manages to do a really good job keeping a steady frame rate despite all of the insane destruction. It's a brilliant game. It's super fun. I think the issues that I landed with eventually were some of the worlds, kind of in the middle of this game, felt like filler.
Yeah.
Some of the abilities you unlock were not very fun. There's just a lot going on in this game, man. It's ambitious in scope, but maybe not as focused as I would have liked.
Really?
What I would have preferred was like 10 worlds, all extremely meaningful
Yeah.
and well made, rather than like 15 worlds where like a third of them weren't as fun.
Oh, sure.
And the boss fight at the end is just not fun.
Oh, really?
So it's got this really I keep using the word ambitious because it's kind of the only thing I can think of is like, man, the scale and size and scope of this game is so impressive, where sometimes it just doesn't lead to a really fun product, for lack of better words.
That's too bad.
So the final boss, I won't spoil it, but it's like this multi-tier adventure where you're fighting this boss over a period of stages.
Okay.
And the final stage of this end boss brought my Switch 2 to its knees. Like, it went from a 60 frame butter smooth games to, like, I'm not even joking, at some point it looked like it was running at 5 frames per second. Like, it was
Brutal.
stuttering so bad. And I had it docked. It was docked.
Wow.
So I had full power into the dock. And there was just so much going on screen that it was just too ambitious for the technical limits of the console.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this game. It's a first-party Nintendo game. It's so unlike Nintendo to release a product that is staggering that badly, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's a super fun game. I think it's extremely well made. I think it could have made for a little bit of a laser focused perspective where they're like, okay, do we really need all of these systems in this game?
Yeah.
As a result, I think I'm happy they did it. I'm happy they didn't just do another Mario Galaxy sequel.
Me too.
But I think that so again, this is the team, and we might circle back to Galaxy later, but this is the team that did Mario Galaxy 2, which I think is maybe still the greatest platformer of all time. Could be last year's Astrobot.
Oh, sure.
I jump between those two. Mario Odyssey's up there, but yeah, it's a bummer to say this, but I think Donkey Kong Bonanza is below those games.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
That's honesty. I respect it. We love that.
It's not as good. It's just not as good as Astrobot. It's not as good as Galaxy. It's not as good as Odyssey, but it's really close.
Sure. Okay. Best power, worst power of all in Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Okay, so you got a snake.
Yep.
There is a zebra.
Okay.
There is a ostrich.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can
them
remember.
all.
There's my favorite is just Donkey Kong. There's like a Hulk out mode where he just hulks out.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
cool.
my favorite.
Yep.
And that's the most fun. I mean, video games, you want to have fun, and like the snake's not that fun.
Okay.
The zebra is wasted because the zebra effect, it just makes him run fast, so you can like bash through walls.
Sure.
So the existence of the zebra system is to not fall through a pit, like a bridge that's too weak for Donkey Kong to crawl.
Oh.
So if you're the zebra, you can dash.
Okay.
But they don't use the dash all that much,
Okay.
and it's just not fun to use.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't think of all of them off the top
That's
of my
fine.
head. You might have saw some in the B-roll, but there's probably 6 to 8 different versions that Donkey Kong will transition to,
Sure.
and they're just not all that fun.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Kind of where I ended up with it.
Yeah.
It's an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because it's like if this is the team from Super Mario Odyssey, maybe the idea too is like, okay, well, we really like the idea of like Cappy.
Exactly.
Put the cap on something, you get to be a T-Rex or whatever.
Right.
And they were kind of like, what if we want to keep doing that? And it is an interesting idea for Donkey Kong because like in the past, historically, it's been like he rides on a rhino.
Yep.
He doesn't always like change into a rhino or something.
Yep.
And maybe I'm sure there's like exceptions to this rule for sure, but I don't know. It is weird to me, but again, it is cool for them to like switch it up and not have it just be like because Mario probably could have been in this, and it would be a very different game.
Yeah,
but they could have just made another Mario game.
Right.
Probably would have sold better.
Yeah.
Like even though this game sold, I think very very well.
Yep.
Just Mario sells.
Yeah.
So I think saving him and then being like, all right, Mario Kart, because a Mario Kart plus another Mario game after it might be like too much.
Yeah.
My real question, though, to you is I was watching this in the Nintendo Direct, and we'll get to it probably later. Are you going to get the DLC?
Yes, although I think it's overpriced based on some of the reviews I read. It's $20.
Okay.
It's for one island.
Yes.
So, but it's nostalgic bait because it's the Donkey Kong Jungle Island. They should have had that in the base game. There is a jungle area in the base game, which is very fun. But yes, I'm going to buy it, but I think it's too expensive.
Yeah, so it comes with like Emerald Rush, which is like a different game mode or something.
Yeah, uses like mine carts and stuff.
Yeah. But that island today, I was listening to, and I heard that music from like Donkey Kong 64, and my heart started to swoon, even though that game is a horrible collectathon, where it's like you just have to collect.
Yep. There's a lot of that in Bonanza too.
I'm sure there's a lot of that,
collecting.
There's something about collecting things like 5 times over that really starts to get to you.
Yeah.
Even though I love the Kongs, shout outs to you got Lanky, and you got Chunky. Yeah. And you got Tiny, and you got Diddy along with Donkey in that game. And man, Donkey Kong 64 is crazy.
Yeah.
I love it, but I also kind of makes me sick.
Right.
But yeah, seeing that island on there and hearing that music, I was like, I was like, oh, like that's nice. So maybe they'll try to franchise this out. Now that Donkey Kong's kind of back in, you do Mario once every 10 years, and every other 10 years you do Donkey Kong.
I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, just to wrap my thoughts, I think it's a wildly successful game. I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
It could have been, even better if they just would have focused it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Focused on quality over quantity. I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but
but maybe like Silksong again, it's like instead of doing it like, oh, it's harder, there's just more of it, and maybe that was a fear that like, all right, we're launching this new console, you can get Mario Kart with it. The first big game we're dropping on here, if it isn't a long, lengthy game, people are going to be like, oh, they're just like phoning it in. Yeah. So it's like, we'll just make more levels. Don't think about like whatever idea you have. It's not like a bad one. Let's just make it a level based off of it. So, but it makes it bad for repeat because if you want to go back, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this level. Like, I don't like this level.
Yeah, I will say amazing fast travel system though.
Ooh, good.
So if you just want to bounce between the worlds or whatever,
and we do,
they're called layers because you're digging down.
Oh yeah.
So each world is a layer.
Hollow Knight.
Yeah. So love Donkey Kong Bonanza. Not my favorite platformer, but it's going to be high on my list for the year. It's a great game. If you have a Switch 2 and you're looking for something to play, get it. It's worth it.
Cool. That's really cool. Okay, good to know. At some point, probably. And Tropical Freeze, I wonder if that's still people's favorite Donkey Kong. Because you play Tropical Freeze?
It's a great game. Yeah. No, it's this is a better game. But,
okay, I was going to say.
But Tropical Freeze is great.
Because I know there's a few moments in this that are the 2D.
There are some 2D moments.
It's a very different game than Tropical Freeze.
Exactly.
So, but Donkey Kong, what game is best? Maybe it's still Donkey Kong Country 2 for some people. I don't know.
Hard to say.
It depends. Something I did want to talk about here today, I think we've touched on it maybe in other episodes too, but is a little game that I've been playing a lot of lately. And it's not a brand new game by any stretch, and that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Nice.
I've gotten back into this game thanks to a lovely, lovely woman named Bethany. Shout out to you, my tag team partner in Super Smash Bros. She and I, she has reinvigorated and brought this game back into my life, and man, oh man, this game is good. And I'm waiting for that next Super Smash Brothers. I'll tell you that much right now. But playing tag team with her, and then also playing like a lot alone, and like just remembering how great this franchise is.
Look at all those characters.
Look at all those characters.
Wow.
I was talking to Corey before we started today. I don't even think the DLC characters are on there.
Probably not even all of them.
Which I could be wrong about that, but I like unlocking them again. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I grew up loving this game. This was my obsession, you know. And I don't know if I've told that story. I know I've told it to you in real life, but the whole like I wanted the N64. And I was like, "Don't get me Super Mario 64, Mom. Please don't." Super Smash Brothers. And that's the nomenclature, the naming. That's what kind of held it back. I think people were confused. They're like, "What is this?" I remember getting that N64 and then opening and seeing Super, and then it was Mario 64, which is still a great, amazing game.
Yeah,
but Super Smash Brothers was the obsession, and then that followed quickly. And I just remember playing as Kirby. On Kirby's Dreamland, and he had this grab, and it was called the pile driver, because he'd grab a character and he'd shoot straight up in the air and come straight back down. And I was like, how does the little pink puffball know how to do this? The terror. I love him so much.
Kirby finds a way.
This is back in the day when Captain Falcon was one of the most terrifying characters in existence. And I was like, wait a second. Who is this guy? I have no idea.
F-Zero, baby.
F-Zero. And it's like him and Star Fox. Like, think about that going back, and they're like, all right, so we've got like Link and like Samus Pikachu. Yeah, these are characters, Donkey Kong, Mario. Right. We have fighting moves for them. And now it's like, all right, now take a pilot from a game where they're in a like an R-Wing and like give him a move set. And you're like, well, what does he do? And you're like, he's got metal legs and a blaster. And you're like, I can work with that.
Yeah.
And then you make Fox, one of the greatest Super Smash Brothers characters.
Yep, he's
for
great.
Sure. He's so good.
Yep.
And I know that you're not so much into the co-op and the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
But I felt I had to bring it up because it was something that like it has been something that's been brought back into my life, and it's just
that's
like
awesome.
It's
I love
it's so good, and it runs so well. I don't know if it's 60 frames.
Oh, I'm sure.
1080 60.
It's a super polished game.
It's so nice because I don't know if I've ever really had any technical issues unless it was the online back in the day. Because I never, I'm always afraid to play online fighting ever, just in general, let alone when it was back when Nintendo was doing the free online stuff. And it's like, it's great that it was free, but also you could tell it was free.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been like, if you look at that roster, it's just like, it's crazy. There's so many characters, but I finally, like, I've committed. I think Link is my main.
Cool.
Like, I rarely use the bomb because I don't want to hurt my partner. My lady. But I love playing as Link so much. I love the Master Sword, and I was never a Zelda guy before, like Breath of the Wild. But I feel like now, Corey, I've played enough that I can be a Link fan.
Nice.
It's fine.
I love it.
No one hurts me. Even though there's Toon Link and there's Young Link. There's like, I don't know.
There's Twilight Princess Link. There's Breath of the Wild Link.
There's so many links. I even got my mom to play this a while back. It was like she played Sonic because she liked that you could just home in on people.
Yeah.
Like, and it's such a love of like, I mean, there's so many
like
characters.
a Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, Mega Man fighting Mario. Like, this is like, it's like
awesome.
a dream. So the real question is now, like, if Super Smash Brothers does indeed come back, because Sakurai's working on Kirby Air Riders 2, I think. That's like his passion project.
Right.
Would you pick this up for Switch 2, like another Smash?
Yeah, I'm legally obligated.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, by
You're
law,
right.
I signed a contract that
all
I'm such a Nintendo fanboy that even though I don't love Smash Brothers, I buy it every time.
Yep.
I respect the heck out of Smash Brothers. It's just, for whatever reason, I just drop off eventually. I'm like, okay, but it's always there for me.
It is.
Every once in a while, I'll reinstall it. So I have the 3DS version, and it was the Wii U version that they ported to Switch, correct?
Yes.
And it's still Ultimate.
Yeah.
Is it still Ultimate Switch Edition?
No, Ultimate's the new. Ultimate was a brand new one.
But didn't that come out on Wii U first, though?
Did it? It might have.
I think so,
it might
dude.
have.
I think it's a Wii U
right,
game.
because they ported in the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
So we're talking about a Wii U game, people. But anyways, no, I'm stoked that you are finding a video game to bond with your girlfriend over. And
she's like, she'll be playing Fox or Lucario or Pikachu. I've been playing like Bowser, Ganondorf, who's like historically one of the worst characters in that game. Corey, the other day, I like got all the kills with Ganondorf. Nice. I was because he with his big sword. I don't know his warlock punch and stuff. Man, he's so cool. Like there's so many cool characters. Even though now, like I look at this game and I think of like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter and how many kind of weird characters they put in there. Anybody could be in Smash Brothers at this point. Anyone could. Mm-hmm. So why not Master Chief? No.
Yeah. Get Joe Biden in there. With his aviators.
Amazing call. Oh my gosh. I was trying to think of like, 'cause I did videos back on my channel in the day. I was like doing percentages. Yeah. And I was like, Banjo-Kazooie is like gonna happen. And then it did, and I was like, I felt so vindicated. Yeah. Because Banjo probably should have been in there in Melee.
What about Jeff Bezos throwing Amazon packages?
Dude, Jeff Bezos.
He comes out on a yacht.
His ultimate's a yacht, and then he just hits another yacht. Right. I would love that. I was trying to think of other fictional characters though that I'd be like, all right, we need to like, how do they not have such and such in there yet? Yeah, I don't know how. I know, but I'm like, I look at Duck Hunt Dog. How is that a character? Yeah, amazing character. Yeah. Piranha Plant. I'm like, eventually it's going to get to the point where we're like, Sakurai, you have to make every single possible fictional character. Yeah. Like Wii Fit Trainer. How is Wii Fit Trainer doing yoga poses and beating the snot out of me? I know. It happens though. Yep. I don't know. Every Pokemon, Sakurai, that's my challenge to you. Give me Arcanine. That's all I want. Either way, I love it. Oh, I've been playing Pokemon Trainer too. And shout out to Ivysaur. I don't know why. Ivysaur is an unsung hero. I love how it moves around. But I just was like, I have to bring that up because I've been playing it, and it is addicting. You get in there and you start throwing Pokeballs and the other items they drop, and I'm like, it's so good. Did you ever play this with your wife? Did you ever play Smash Brothers? I'm sure. Yeah. I can't recall a specific moment, but I'm sure. Yeah. I used to play it on the Wii, was it Brawl, or is that the GameCube version? Super Smash Brothers Brawl was at the Wii, I believe, yeah. When I used to live in Plymouth. So I have fond memories of playing that. Dude, I remember that was like, I think I was in high school when that started coming out because they started releasing the like the character profiles one at a time. Like Charizard was by himself back in the day. Oh, yeah. I was like so excited. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, I need to bring that up because I've been playing that more than any of these other games we've talked about today, which is crazy to me.
That's awesome.
But I do want to keep it in the Nintendo wheelhouse here for a little bit because I do want to touch on the Nintendo Direct that did come up the other day. At the time of this recording, I think it was like last week.
Yep.
A bunch of stuff came up. Only a few things for me personally that I was excited about. But you had a few things too that you were like, okay, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, so Miyamoto, I think, kicked it off. If anybody doesn't know, Miyamoto is the legendary game designer, Super Mario, Zelda. He's still around, still kicking, still works for Nintendo.
So cool.
Yeah, they're celebrating 40 years of Super Mario specifically.
Yes.
So it's the 40th anniversary. The shirt that I am wearing actually is, I can't even believe I'm going to say this is 5 years old. They put this up for the 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
You can't see it on the back, but it says 35th anniversary. So they're going to have, long story short, they're going to have 40th anniversary merch. I think you have to go to either Japan or the theme parks at Universal to get the merch. And then they are putting out Super Mario Galaxy, the movie, which is a sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie, I believe is what it was called.
Yes.
And then as part of the celebration, they're re-releasing Galaxy 1 and 2 as a collection for Switch and Switch 2.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing. I was expecting a lot more. I mean, it's 40 years, but maybe they still have a few tricks up their sleeve. We'll see. But yeah, I got a couple other thoughts on the Direct, but I'll stop and bounce it to you.
Oh, it's interesting about the Mario stuff. Is it unlike Nintendo to do all of this, the pomp and circumstance, and then kind of have it like undercut, but then also quietly do a Direct at some point in the future? Like, oh, by the way, here's the next Super Mario game. You're like, it's like 40 minutes on Super. And you're like, wait, what? And they're like, we're kind of messing with you. Because I saw the Kirby Air Riders one got like a 43-minute Direct. I was like, okay, so that's clearly it's something they could do. It does seem a little strange. I know that sentiment, it seemed like from others, was that like they wanted a game, not a movie, which I totally understand.
I think it's just a timing thing.
Yeah,
I think it's just where they're at. You know, the development team behind Mario is doing Donkey Kong still.
Exactly.
So they don't have a team, ready. They could have put out a 2D one, but I think they're still pumping out DLC for Wonder.
Oh, sure.
So they're so they got a few things kicking for Mario. Just no big tentpole game per se. Some remasters and some merch and stuff like that. Theme park stuff.
Yep.
But, that's also kind of weird because it's like, oh, do you expect people to fly to Japan to celebrate 40 years or like even Universal in Hollywood or Orlando? It's a very expensive ask.
Yeah, very much so.
But you got the movie, so you can go see the movie. I think next year. I think that comes out next year. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, and it was they're kind of announcing it, and the way they kind of announced it too is like they're like, hey, guess who's back? And it was like, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, it's fine. At least they're doing something. Yeah. Versus not.
If you're not a big Galaxy fan, I could see that being pretty lackluster.
Sure.
I love Galaxy, so I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
Coming from someone that didn't love that first movie, I thought it was just fine.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And I was not a huge fan of Galaxy. I bounced off of it.
Well, there you
and
go.
the movie I thought was fine as well. So I'm like,
well, there you go.
But again, maybe it was one of those things that they're working on all these things. I'm like, wait, it's this 40th anniversary of Super Mario. We haven't prepared anything. They're like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Right.
We're just gonna move on. We're gonna make a new movie. It's gonna make another $1 billion, probably almost easily, and then we're just gonna move on. It'll be fine. And I think protecting Mario and like that's one of the reasons why the legacies of these characters continues. That like for Nintendo specifically, they're like, we're only gonna put something out typically if it's like the highest caliber quality, right? And I think maybe they could be like, well, Mario Kart's kind of the Mario thing right now, it's like
well, that new Mario Kart's great, so that's fine too.
It's great. What else from the Direct was something that you were really drawn to?
Just real quick, Metroid finally got a date, so that's Metroid Prime 4. I don't know the subtitle of that game. I can't remember.
Samus gets a motorcycle.
Yeah, Samus. Yeah, there you go.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So they showed B-roll. I didn't have that prepared, but it looks cool. It's coming up December 4th. Super excited for it. There's a Switch 2 edition, so and it's also on Switch.
Nice.
So,
okay, that's nice.
I'll let you touch on the other stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say the big thing for me was that like I saw that they did they're doing a full remaster or remake of Dragon Quest VII.
Right.
Do we know if that's a full remake? or
I
from the
believe
ground
so.
up.
It certainly looks like it.
It looks, very much like it. And the reason I'm excited about it is because I have a supreme love for Dragon Quest. There's something about it that feels timeless and cheerful, even though it can be very sad and dour. But I love, love, love Dragon Quest, especially Dragon Quest VIII, which I still think is the epitome of JRPGs. And I think a lot of people have been waiting for a full remaster or remake of that game. And so seeing Dragon Quest they did like 3, and then they did 1 and 2 as well, and kind of trying these out and saying like, is there like a market for this? There definitely is a market for this. I think a lot of people will play Dragon Quest 7. I think I will play Dragon Quest 7 because just seeing it, I'm like, oh, there's a familiarity that draws me to it, the music and the style of the characters, even though this one's very chibi or whatever.
It is.
But I was looking at it again today, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like, my hands are tied. And like, they also, I think, have learned lessons from the past about doing the MIDI music, because right away they have the orchestral score playing, and it's like the Tokyo Orchestra or Philharmonic Orchestra or whatever. And it's like, oh, so clearly they put the money, and they're like, people want the music, because if we don't do the music, people get very mad. And I get it, because I felt that way too. I'm like, I need that orchestra. But yeah, I'm very excited about that, and I'm like, that's a cool thing. Also, I saw this too. Hades 2 is timed exclusive, is finally coming, like officially 1.0, you know. And I love the first Hades.
Same.
Such a good game. And I haven't touched, I'm of two minds on early access. I think it makes games way better in the long run. I'll look at something like the Divinity Original Sin guys when they went to do why can't I think of it right? Baldur's Gate 3. And how much that benefited from that time. But Hades 2, that's another one. I'm like, ooh, yeah. I might not be on Switch for me, but because I'm like, well, on Series X, it'd probably run pretty well. You know, but yeah, I'm looking forward to those. Anything else from it for you?
You know, they're putting out some Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games. I don't have the list in front of me, but they're fancying up, for lack of a better word, some older Switch games for Switch 2, which is great to see. And then Virtual Boy games, and they're releasing the Virtual Boy, which I'm sorry, I'm going to buy that thing.
Don't be sorry.
Because
you should buy it.
I mean, what a curveball.
It's classic Nintendo, man.
Exactly.
Out of nowhere, they're just like, look at this. And
so they're re-releasing the Virtual Boy and the catalog for online membership subscribers. So you have to subscribe to their service. But I mean, some random stuff. They're putting out like old Resident Evil games, like Requiem and Requiem's the new one, but Village and 7. You know, they're pumping some of those out. But
which is always weird to see on a Nintendo console. Not that they can't have scary games, but I'm always like, what is that doing here? I'm like, this is where Mario lives, and it's like, but also watch out for Umbrella. Like,
there's a new Yoshi game coming that looks really neat. It looks like it's more geared towards the kid-friendly audience. So might not be for me, but it looks gorgeous and it has this kind of storybook vibe to it, which looks really cool. It looks cool.
There's like that Pokemon Stardew Valley game where you play as a Ditto that turns into a human. It's really weird. I was like looking at that. I'm like, what is this? I was like, they wanted Stardew Valley, but they're like, but Pokemon will do it. And it's got this really weird name. And I was like, it'll sell like hotcakes.
Right. It was a good direct. I mean, you got Metroid, you got Mario, you got Kirby, you got Yoshi.
So much stuff in there.
Donkey Kong stuff. It's
chock full.
Chock full.
Chock full.
Yep.
Well, Corey, as I like to say always, we could sit here all day, especially in our new space here, and talk about video games. But unfortunately, we can't. We're not a 2-hour show yet, but maybe one day. Who knows? But thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it. It was so much fun to hang out with you. Also, a huge thank you to the people who made this possible. We've got Pat and CJ in the back here. They're crushing it. We've had a few people walking through the space too. Shout out to everybody at QCTV here. And thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it so much. So from Corey, myself, and everybody here, we appreciate you. Thank you. And until next time, you just take care.